All right, confession time. Our son has gone to Walt Disney World 3 times and he's only 2.5. And we live 1,000 miles away, so we're not annual pass holders and not locals. And we're brainstorming on when to go next. I don't feel embarrassed or guilty. Some people have vacation homes or go camping or have their place where they go. Our place is Disney, and I'm good with that. Today, I want to share some tips with you about taking babies and toddlers to Disney. It's still fun, but you have to do things differently. Here are some tips and tricks from our experience that I hope will help you as you plan your next trip with your baby or toddler. Before we continue, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notified when a new video comes out. Thank you so much. First, I think a huge game changer of going to Disney is the fact that they have complimentary cribs and pack and plays that you can borrow. This is so convenient because you don't have to worry about bringing one or renting one. Each time we went, we requested one ahead of time, but it was not in our room when we got there. So just a heads up, we did have to tell the front desk, but they were so prompt. At Art of Animation, we asked the front desk and it was in our room before we returned. They will also include a crib sheet and extra sheet too. I'll put the link with the list of resorts that have complimentary cribs and pack and plays in the description below. The next thing to take note of is that there is so much extra stuff you have to bring with a baby or toddler. I would say the biggest item you need to bring, but you can also rent one, is a stroller. We chose to purchase a travel stroller from Amazon for about $100. The stroller folds up so it can go through security really easily at the airports, and then our son can ride in it as we travel through the airport. It also folds up really nicely when hopping on those Disney buses. However, if you don't want to lug a stroller through the airport or worry about bringing one, you can also rent one from Disney or another rental company. The Disney website is very helpful with rental information. You can rent a double or a single stroller, and you can pay per day or get a multi-day pass. Keep in mind that you can't bring one stroller from park to park if you're park hopping that day. You'll have a receipt if you get the multi-day pass that you'll show to the stroller rental area. You can also rent a stroller while at Disney Springs. I think this is a great option and the price is reasonable, but keep in mind, this would mean you won't have a stroller at your resort if that's something that would make your life easier while at Disney World. I'll put the link to the Disney stroller info in the description as well. Check out that deposit at Disney Springs. I'm guessing some people walked away with their stroller instead of returning it. A couple other helpful things we've been bringing on our trips are disposable diaper genies. These are some of the best inventions ever. They fit so nice and neat into your bathroom and contain odors very well. Plus, they're compact when brand new, so don't take up too much space in your suitcase. The other random item I've been bringing is a collapsible dish rack. I bought one for about $15 from Amazon, and this is another item that fits nicely into the suitcase because it folds up. Of course, you need to bring a bottle brush and dish soap too, but it's definitely worth it so you're not slopping all over the counter when washing bottles. The dish rack is great for washing your refillable mugs and anything else too. Speaking of formula, I decided to have Amazon deliver liquid baby formula to our resort instead of adding a lot of weight to our suitcases. I did pack a little just in case our delivery didn't arrive on time, which was necessary. I did the math ahead of time to determine how much we would need on our trip so we wouldn't be taking it a lot home. I got some 32-ounce bottles and some 8-ounce bottles delivered. The 8-ounce bottles were great to take into the parks and on the airplane. On our first trip, we did have to get one Walmart delivery. We managed to lose all but one binky in the first 2 days. There are baby care centers that I'll get to soon, but they didn't have the kind my son liked. The Walmart delivery was super smooth and fast. It took longer for us to get our Amazon delivery since it was literally sent to the resort from Amazon. But a cast member did end up bringing it to our room, which was very nice. A Walmart delivery driver brought that delivery to the front desk for us. By the way, if you do need to get something delivered, make sure you fill out the address correctly. Maybe you Google it ahead of time for your trip, but this is the current way. Put your guest name, your arrival date, the resort name, and resort address. I'll put all this information in the description below. So they don't have everything, but the resort store and baby care centers will have items for your baby that you may have forgotten, so check there first if you're in a pinch. Another easy option would be to drive somewhere if you brought a car, but for those of us with suitcases and traveling far, I hope the previous info was helpful. This is a random note which I wasn't sure where to mention, but I used our coffee maker in the room to heat up bottles. I just ran a cup of water through the machine into a cup and put the bottle in there for a couple minutes. I even used Hey Disney to time it. It depends on the size of your bottle and the cups they have available, but I actually bought a mug immediately that I had been wanting, so use that to place the bottle in. This worked so nicely. Anyway, let's move on to an excellent resource that Disney offers. This is another link I'll add to the bottom, so there's quite a few links down there for you today. But the baby care centers are amazing. There's one at each park, and we have definitely appreciated them. These centers have nursing rooms with chairs, a changing room with tables, restrooms, feeding areas with high chairs, seating and television, a kitchenette with a microwave and sink, and a small store with some items, as I mentioned before. The changing room is so convenient instead of having to take your child to a regular restroom, and the seating area with a TV is such a great addition for the toddlers and moms and dads who need a break. At Magic Kingdom, it's located right off of Main Street, so it's semi-centrally located. At Animal Kingdom, it's located on Discovery Island near the bridge heading to Africa. So again, this one is pretty centrally located. If you're looking for the Epcot Center, it'll be located near the Mexico Pavilion. And at Hollywood Studios, it's located right near the entrance to the park. You may have to take a hike to get there in the middle of the day if needed. One comment I'll say about the baby care centers is that they don't really have huge signs out front to label them. That's why you should have a general idea of where to go, or you may get frustrated looking for one if you're in a hurry. Also, just ask a cast member for directions if you're having trouble finding it. Alright, so speaking of park days, when you're going with a baby or toddler, I would recommend doing a little research before choosing parks or planning your days. You can't do everything. Time, energy, and height will now play a huge factor into your park day. Choose rides, shows, or activities in advance and set realistic expectations for your day. I do think there is a decent amount of stuff to do at each park for your family, but prioritize and observe how your child is doing and how much they can handle. Don't force your child to do anything that they don't want to and traumatize them. They may not be ready for certain things, but someday they will. Another thing you may want to consider is the transportation available at your Disney resort for the parks you plan on going to. And this factor may affect where you end up staying. On our last trip, we went to both Hollywood Studios and Epcot, so stayed at Art of Animation for the Skyliner access. It was such a great choice for quick access to and from those parks, especially for nap time. Sure, travel time may be similar to riding on the Disney bus, but there is little to no wait time when getting on the Skyliner. We loved it. Speaking of nap time, I highly recommend sticking to it. Sure, it'll cut out of your park day, but it's totally worth it. Your kiddo is tired and maybe you could use a chance to sit down and rest too. Our son doesn't just fall asleep anywhere like some kiddos, so we did go to our room midday during each park day. My husband and I used to be rope drop to park closed people, so this has been an adjustment, but we've still been able to do a lot in the parks, so it's totally worth it. And it's most important to have a happy, healthy child and avoid meltdowns at all costs. If you have a baby or toddler and are planning or considering going to Disney, I hope this has been helpful information. It's such a joy to see the magic through your little one's eyes, and you won't regret taking them. The thing that I want to stress the most is to make sure you do what's right for you and your family. If you need to take more breaks, go to more basic restaurants, or not ride as many rides, that's completely okay. You will make wonderful memories no matter what if you just try to soak up every moment. If you have any other tips for parents with babies or toddlers going to Disney, feel free to share them in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching Optimistically Disney, where we love all things Disney.